Hello, I want to share with you this anecdote that I had already sent before. I thank you in advance for taking a little of your time to listen to this text. My name is Eric and I am 24 years old. I am a doctor and I am currently doing my social services in a town which is 4 hours from my city. During my stay at the clinic during my shift we handle chemical waste, like any doctor who is doing his service. But something that I remember well was when I arrived. The previous intern doctor mentioned to me before leaving that many noises are heard at night. I thought it was a joke of his as a farewell. In addition to the fact that the clinic is part of a very old former hacienda, however the truth is that he was right. During the nights in on the second floor of the clinic, which is located next to a black construction site, footsteps are perfectly heard, as if they were children playing. The noises in the ceiling at night or when I am left alone in the clinic are among the most common. Without, however, it is not the only thing that has happened to me. On one occasion I could not find the files of the patient's diagnoses. I was in my office finishing the notes of the consultations of that day. At approximately 10 at night in the sky it was noticeable that an electrical storm was approaching. Then I began to hear the footsteps again, but this time they were different. I noticed them much more active. A few minutes after the storm began the electricity in the community went out at that moment. I noticed that the steps were also in the clinic. In the corridor there is a refrigerator. There was water under the refrigerator like a small puddle, for which I had to check if it was at an adequate temperature. Before the blackout I went to the corridor where it was find this refrigerator and I know that many will not believe it, and I do not blame them because I would not have believed it if I had not experienced it myself. But right in the middle of the corridor towards the room I was going to I felt like someone. I pushed his left shoulder, immediately illuminating it with my cell phone lamp. At that moment I was alone in the clinic, so the most logical thing was that a thief had entered the clinic. However, there was nothing, just shadows. Just at that moment the footsteps on the second floor began again and this time louder. I just checked the temperature of the refrigerator and went to the residence to sleep. The noise on the second floor continued. After 15 minutes the rain and the noise of the boots and the thunder drowned out the noise from the second floor. Another time, I remember it well, on a Friday, during the consultation, a lady who lives right in front of the clinic asked me, "Doctor, why are you alone at night?" It honestly puzzled me, because that day I remember very well that I went to bed early. The next morning I saw the lady. I asked the lady why she mentioned that to me, and she said that around 3 in the morning the kitchen of his house drank water and noticed that the clinic lights were on. So he looked out the window and mentioned that he clearly observed how someone was walking through the clinic from one side to another. Because it was that time of night he thought it was me and he just went back to sleep. When the lady finished saying that, a chill ran down my spine, because as I told you on this occasion at that time I was already asleep and I was completely alone. But the worst experience I've ever had was at the beginning of October last year. It was a normal consultation for a 5-year-old boy and nothing out of the ordinary, until the boy asked me if I could present him with some vitamins because he did not sleep well at night. I asked the little boy why couldn't he sleep, and he replied that during the night Angela doesn't let him sleep behind his window. I didn't give it much importance. I mentioned that Angela couldn't do anything to him because she didn't exist. Actually that day I stayed working until very late. It was almost 3 in the morning. I was about to finish. I just had to arrange some card holders. And I was doing precisely that task when I heard 3 knocks on the window. I thought it was due to some emergency, but there was no one outside. I got closer to see better in the dark. And right in front of my face 3 knocks again. I was very scared, so I decided to go to the residence, and when I turned off the lights, I could hear 3 knocks from the window again. The next day I was returning to my city, so I took the transport that left me at the bus station. The bus moved forward and a while later a lady with a child got on. I recognized them immediately and the child did the same. He greeted me and told me very excited, "Dr. Angela told me that she went to see what touched her in the window, but that she did not want to open it. I do not know if you believe me or not, and I do not want to convince you. I am only sharing what I have experienced in that place. But I am more than convinced that there is something in that clinic and around the ex-hacienda. I also admit that I have always been a very pessimistic and negative person, and perhaps that is the reason these phenomena happen to me. Unlike the other medical interns who have been there, they only heard the noises on the second floor. I am currently on vacation. This Monday I returned to the clinic. I had a very important personal loss. I start vacations emotionally in bad shape, and I do not know if that is what is around the clinic and the exhacienda. I noticed it. My professional practices force me to spend another 6 months there. Thanks for listening to me.